Probably you've heard this over and over again, that we are now under the new covenant and we don't need the 10 commandments of the old covenant. What is so new about the New Testament? Hi, K1 here, and welcome to another episode of Week at a Glance, where we dive into a thoughtful summary of this week's Bible study guide. Welcome to another episode of our series on the covenant. Today's subject is very important because it will change the way you appreciate the character of God in the plan of salvation. It will not do any justice to just summarize this topic in 8 minutes. My hope is that this summary will somehow help you to dive deeper into the Word of God and study this topic with renewed interest. Years ago, there was this interesting cartoon in the magazine. It was about a new product that a business executive presented before other executives. The label states "new detergent." And then the presenter went on to explain that only the word "new" was actually new. Everything else was basically the same. Could it be that the new covenant is the same as the old covenant at its core? The title of this episode is The New Covenant. Now here are the important points to remember for today's episode. Our first point is the nature of the new covenant. The first mention of the new covenant is in Jeremiah 31. When you look at it closely, you will discover that it is God who takes the first step. God takes the initiative in promising a new covenant. You will also discover that human response to the covenant is as necessary as it ever was. But this time, God promises to work in the hearts to enable them to obey the law. Speaking about God's law, God does not speak here of a new law, but a new covenant. God's moral law was never changed. When we look at this new covenant side by side, the old covenant, you will notice that they both have the same covenant in God. God said, "And I will make," I will make, Jeremiah 31. They both have the same moral law. God said, "My law." They both have the same promises. God said, "I will be your God and you will be my people." And the same forgiveness that God offered. God said, "I will forgive their iniquity." At its core, the old and the new covenants are basically the same. The new covenant has the same DNA as the old covenant. The problem with the old covenant, or better known as the Sinai covenant, was not that it was old or outdated. The problem was that it had been broken. So God renewed his covenant, calling it now as a new covenant. Now let's look at what's so new about it. Our second point is the newness of the new covenant. Although the phrase "the new covenant" first appeared in Jeremiah 31, this idea was already expressed 150 years earlier by the prophet Hosea and also prophet Isaiah. What then is so new about this new covenant, and what kind of marketing strategy is this to label something new? In relation to its purpose, it is the same as the old covenant. The salvation offered in the new covenant is the same offered in the new. Salvation was never through works, but has always been through faith in the redeeming sacrifice of God. It has the same covenant formula: to obey God's voice. God said, "And I will be their God, and they shall be my people, if they obey and trust me." Although the basic elements are the same, few things are different. In relation to time, the Sinai covenant is older and the new covenant is newer. But beyond that, it is a newer and better covenant because, listen to this, it is a fuller revelation of God himself. Instead of God's plan of salvation being revealed through this sanctuary blueprint and sacrificial rituals, we have Jesus in the new covenant. The old covenant rituals pointed in faith to the ultimate sacrifice of the Messiah. In the new covenant, the reality of that sacrifice was accomplished by Jesus. The ministry of the high priest was also taken over by Jesus in Hebrews chapter 9. Now let's talk more about why it is a better covenant. Our third and final point is the superiority of the new covenant. Basically, the new covenant is a renewed covenant with features that render it superior. It is superior because God will write His law on the hearts of the believers. It is superior because of the sacrifice of Jesus. When you look at the cross, bam, you are moved by the love of God. And through the working of the Holy Spirit, you respond in loving obedience to the law of God. It is superior because of the high priestly ministry of Jesus in the heavenly sanctuary. The blueprints of this sanctuary shows us that the process of forgiveness and reconciliation doesn't stop at the courtyard where the animals were sacrificed. The blood is brought inside the sanctuary where the priest intercedes on behalf of the people. In the same manner, the ministry of Jesus didn't stop at the courtyard where He died on the cross as the ultimate sacrifice, but He took on the robe of the high priest and mediates on behalf of His people in the heavenly sanctuary. It is superior because of the forgiveness that God made possible on the cross. In the Old Covenant, sin was forgiven in view of Christ's future death, symbolized by the animal sacrifices. In the New Covenant, it is what Christ has accomplished for us, for you and for me. The superiority of the New Covenant is found in Jesus. In the New Covenant, we are given this all-in-one package. Jesus was the sacrificial lamb. He also became the high priest that mediates between God and mankind. The new covenant is actually a renewed covenant, renewed by God because it was broken by God's covenant people. God made a new covenant, but not a new law. The moral law of God is still the law of the new covenant, which was summarized by Jesus in the New Testament as love to God and love to man. And I hope that this very short summary has helped you to understand this week's lesson. And believe me, we have just scratched the surface, and I hope that you will dig into a deeper study of this topic, and that you will learn more and more and appreciate the character of God. In summary, here are different points we talked about in today's episode. Point number 1, the nature of the new covenant. Point number 2, the newness of the new covenant. And point number 3, the superiority of the new covenant. Now, if you find this episode helpful, then hit the like button. By doing that, you are helping this ministry for this video to reach more people. And don't forget to personally share this video with a friend. Spread the word and change lives one message at a time. And if you want to watch more summaries and videos like this, then click on this video right here. This is again Keo Duvan for Week at a Glance. I'll see you in the next video.